Good morning, YouTubers. That's what they used to say in the early days of YouTube, back in like 07, 06. Now they say it for TikTokers on the news, like, oh, hey, this TikToker, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, yeah, she's got, 15 million fucking followers because she's a 14-year-old with big jugs. Like, duh. Oh, and then they interviewed her and they were like, why do you have so many followers? I don't know. It's like, you idiot. Shut up. My electricity bill is a lot, like more than normal. In the summertime, the biggest one I had was $1,300. It's a lot. So this is an older property. It was developed in the 60s. And this is the only grounding rod on the property. So I'm going to put in a new one, 8-footer. The price on these is double. They are normally $7 to $8, but copper is whatever, expensive. So the price doubled. Even at $14, it's still well worth it if I can save $14. I borrowed it's not a pneumatic hammer, it's an electric hammer. Let me show you that to you. This guy from my buddy William. So that's kind of, and I don't need to show you that video because that's fucking annoying. But basically I just dug it out a little bit to make sure there wasn't any plumbing. There shouldn't be any plumbing, but you also don't want to hit the footer of the building, of the foundation. So, but I'm going to come out maybe about that much, 3 inches this way from the original one. So, but mine's going to be fresh and exciting and new. But this time, if this is, I would guess that this is actually solid copper, which is fucking awesome because these are solid copper. This was the other one. So we ended up changing the spigot out on it, and it got all just old and crusty from the 60s. And so we took it up, and I was like, were they using the plumbing as a ground? Sure enough, fuck yeah, dual purpose, motherfucker. And so we changed that out, and the house does not have one at all. So it just uses the plumbing as well. And you're like, well, it uses like it's probably 1.5 main, copper straight to the street. So it's using that, which is good, but that's only probably 4 feet down, which is okay. But, again, sometimes there gets a little bit of patina, corrosion on the outside, because we actually saw some pitting when we changed out one of the, there's not even like a master valve at the house, which is dumb. Like, building code, I don't even think building code was around since then, but a lot has changed. So I'm going to go ahead and add this today and do my best to, I don't know. I want to recycle it because copper really doesn't ever go bad, or maybe just shine up the ends and make it as best I can into the box. So what's funny was when I was doing my inspection on the other panel, it looks like somebody had put a nice big 4-gauge ground lug on there to run a rod, but there was no wire. So I'm like, okay, I'll use that then. But I also wanted to do a update some projects. Got a lot of shipping today. So yesterday was kind of a chill day. On Sunday night I stayed up till about 6. Actually, I stayed up till 3, went inside, had some cereal, thinking, rub one out, go to bed. Wrong. I was like insomniac, and I stayed up till 6 or 7 just because I couldn't sleep, but that's how it goes. Just building another, this is a spec one. I don't, this is for it's going to go to some good loving family. This one, I built 2 of these. I posted them up for sale, whatever they sold, real quick. Thank you guys for your support. I just got to test them out today and do that one. This one is the Cylon, which is the full-size quad stack, but I use the U-Series frame, which you can buy from Lord of Base, U-Series from Sundown. So they don't do anything fantastic. I don't like this, the way that they terminate, but whatever. I can fucking figure it out and work around it. So this I'm building as a pair. There's a box out there that's for 212s that I built years ago, and I want to pair these up with that. So just to get rid of it, a lot of times it's hard to get rid of an item because nobody needs just that item. So you have to provide a solution So now if it comes with like subwoofers and then maybe an amp, then all of a sudden it becomes a solution. So, but this one's ready to go. We got a pallet shipment of the gaskets in. These gaskets are great. I still get these from the same, it's not the same manufacturer, but it's the same tooling that Tilo had tooled up back in, you know, whatever, the late 90s or mid 90s. He tooled it up here in America, and I still use the tooling from that. And so we got these are actually modified ones, but now we have the original ones in. So we have the 8-inch in 1/4 inch thickness. This is slightly thicker than 1/4 inch. And that's because I had some 1-inch ones made. Again, Tilo, I think, tooled them up for his stuff. And then what I do is I put them on the saw, and just a table saw, and then I have a little jig, and I just kind of rotate them, and it turns it into 2 pieces, which is this one and then the skinny one. So, and the skinny one I typically just use as a clamp. So, but and then I do the same thing with it's not 1 inch. In fact, that's what the original tool maker, they turned the 1-inch one into a 1/4 inch one for me, because I was buying so many at the time. But then I was poor for a while, and so now I'm back doing better thanks to you guys. And so now we got the molding again for 1/4 inch. These are slightly thinner than 1/4 inch, and then you can see there's a thicker one that's slightly thicker than 1/4 inch. But I got genuine 1/4 inch. Oh yeah, here's the 1 inch by 8. So, and these are 9 by 8, which is not quite 10 inches, but that's what you want. And anytime you use our laminate spiders, anytime you use any laminate spider, you always want to bolt that to the fucking frame, because sometimes the laminates will come undone. These are back in stock as well. 25 bucks each shipped. This is quad lead fat flat. So plenty of current capability for you guys, especially if you double them up for really high powered applications. And then for $5 more, you get the clamp ring. So, and then, I don't know, sometimes I do other stuff. This is for Daniel. This is the Dumper Mini. I think we did a thicker top plate on this one as well. This one's got the original TC Sounds top plate. You can see there, because I used the side mount, the Storm one. And thanks to Jeff, who found 3 more of the GONZO cones. And so that's all ready to go. I'm building this pair out as spec, so if you want to buy those, that's fine. We're doing them, normally they're 400 each shipped, and so it ends up being 375 each shipped, whatever that adds up to be. 750, so 750 shipped for the pair. So 750? I don't know, something like that. Yeah, that sounds right. Let's do that. 750 shipped for the pair. I want to help you guys out. And then this was the top. This one. This one is a top for what's his name? Adrian Jaime. So I built this top for the Pioneer SPL woofer, which Scott Owens used 8 of them in ported boxes to hit over 180 dB. So, but he's got 3 of those, and he's going to run them together in series parallel to get 1 ohm. We put a dual coil on there. This one is a Scar. Originally, it's a Scar 12 that got traded in. The terminals were loose. You know what's funny is that problem that I described that Jacob had in the factory, where it's the dumbest little thing right here. These guys. So sometimes I like these because these are universal. You can use this one. Let me show it to you. So this one, this side. Where's the camera? This side. So this little guy, I like these because they have the little nipple, not the big nipple, and so you can use one on each side of the metal. Some of them use one side like this, which is a small hole, and then the other one uses a big hole. And typically, what they do in China, for some reason, it's just a habit they have. They put the big one. It's got a bigger ring, and then what happens is they put the solder tab on it, and then it compresses it, but it divots, and so it ends up working its way loose later on. And that was what I got silently booed for in the Sundown Builders forum on Facebook when I said that to Jacob openly. What I was doing was looking for other people that had run in the same problem to sort of confirm, because again, people, especially other builders, sort of discredit me because I don't mostly because I don't believe in all the bullshit that they believe in too, which is dumb because it's like science speaks louder than anything I could say, but you know, whatever, fuck. I think it's also because I talk about sucking my own dick and taking a shit too, which for some reason is not acceptable in society. This is the dumbest thing. These scars I finished up Sunday. They've been curing. I just got to test them and put the inner cap on, and then that guy, he drove all the way up from Tucson to drop these off, and it took forever to get coils from Florida base, but I finally got them. And then come to find out I could have used the dual 0.25 coils instead, which I had in stock. I just didn't think about it. Either way, he needed a final 1 ohm load. So building some more motors. I'm going to let these cure for one more day. Oops, sorry. I'm going to let these cure for one more day and then zap them. I'm still experimenting with a lot of stuff. This one ended up being a 5 stack. It's 4 20 millimeter, and then I think this one is slightly bigger. It's not quite 1 inch. It's like 7/8, and these are all 5/8 or I don't know, some shit like that. But I always got motors if you guys want to build motors. Still waiting on adapters for 21s. I'm gonna do a video on this one. Somebody had traded this one in. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just that it's rotted out, and the problem is that when you start to pull this stuff off, it's double stitched. There's some problems in that it's plastic, so they ran into that problem where, like, you know, somebody puts a quarter on there and it fucking explodes this. So I got to take the cap off, basically grind off the cone, and then I'm going to change it with a paper one. I'm going to see if I can retain this gasket or find a replacement. Where are they at? I actually got back from the machine shop and I had these 9500 frames turned down so that we can fit the regular gasket on them. You can't really change the bolt pattern because it's so wide mouth. So, but what I can do is add this bolt pattern to the top plate, and then I make the motor. So I can control that. So what is it? What was this? That poster said in high school? You can't control the ocean, but you can adjust your sails or some shit like that. So change what you can. So these what got dropped off. I'm going to do a video on these just to show you guys what I do to them. You can do the same thing in your neck of the woods just by ordering the parts off of eBay. Oh, I got some more poles done from those Rabati and Son. We had some. That was the one I was telling you about where the coil gets impacted right here. For some reason, it just locks up. And then I went ahead and had them extended. The boys didn't quite know what to do with the Memphis Mojo T-yokes that I dropped off, and the gripper in the lathe cannot grip them, and so we may have to make a jig or do something else to get them to work. Luckily, they didn't do anything to them because I wanted them to have the added top plate, but I wanted it to be for 4-inch instead of more GONZO. So instead of 3-inch. So, but they already drilled the holes in them, which is good. And then they were like, "Are you sure this is okay?" I'm like, "Have you seen Road Warrior or Mad Max?" I'm like, That's what I like to build with a lot of these woofers, is to show that if you don't give a fuck what it looks like and you only care about performance, and budget, basically performance value, what would that look like? And that's everything I got. That's more GONZO, right? Your mom doesn't care what you're sticking in her butthole, as long as you're sticking something in her butthole. That's all she cares about. Had to redo the Phi SP4. It had some rubbing, and so I had to break it down and fucking grind it again, and now I got to do some patchwork. The Rockford ones turned out really good. I have not tested them yet, even though I should have tested them before I put the inner cap on it, but we'll see how long that inner cap. There's no inner cap on this one. The guy wanted a Rockford cap, and so I just barebacked it, stuck it on there. So we'll see if it stays. So what he wanted, what am I going to do? Argue in the street? Jeremy's is done. I tested that one today. That one should be good. And then I ended up on this one. I ended up going with the SPL cone, Sundown SPL, even though you can buy it from Florida base, because it's stiffer. And so I kind of wanted to hedge my bets on that one. I didn't want to go soft surround and then soft spider and heavy coil, because then the FS gets too low. Like, you don't really want it to be lower than 25, because that's, at 25, that's really good porting for, at 30 hertz, which is about the limit for music. You're not going to have any music below that. And only in home theater are you going to have anything below that, and mostly that's rumbling, you know, like from explosions and shit like that. So, but I've been getting some text messages from you guys about, what was it? Well, it was the Sunday sermon about illusion. So there's some things in audio that are not, well, how do I say this? They're not effective cost-wise. Like what you add to the design does not really deliver the performance that you might think. But it does add to marketing value because people think they need it. You know, like if you say dual mirrored spiders, right? All they're doing is giving you 2 shitty spiders instead of 1 good spider. So, and remember I told you that it's not the distance between the spiders that counts. Even though everybody watches that Ed Luster fucking video and thinks, you know, they're a brainiac. That's actually not true. That makes no shits. What gives shits is the difference between the bottom suspension, which is the spider, and the top suspension, which is the surround. That distance matters because one of the issues that we get in shallow, especially when it's shallow with reverse surround, like this one, is rocking. And that's because it's, but also you're pushing it beyond typically what's linear X max. So, you know, potato. Again, this standard spacing from here to here is fine for most woofers. Imagine spacing 2 spiders that way. It's super linear, bro. And then, you know, fucking whoever, like Memphis, like around the LVS. That is the dumbest thing in the world because, yes, there's a spider here and then there's a spider way up here. However, they're both limited to 8-inch spiders. So it's not going to move any more than linear about 12 or 2 inches. X max is 2.5, which is the same as if you just used 1 spider. So again, that's a gimmick. And, you know, and believe me, I understand. Nobody uses a 6-stack motor because it's a waste of ferrite. However, the turd still has to sell. And so, you know, you got to give people something that they is different or that, you know, they get excited about. And so, but, you know, I'll tell you, this is a turd and people still want it. I'm like, okay, here's some turds. That's fine. But the other one was a Faraday ring. So it's kind of dumb that they use Faraday rings, especially in woofers, because Faraday rings get what's called saturated very, very quickly. Like they hardly any power, like 50 watts, done. It's like not effective anymore. And also the effect that it does cause, which is, I guess it says it reduces eddy currents and shit like that, which is fine. I'm not saying it's not true. What I'm saying is that, can you hear the difference? No. maybe in a mid or a tweeter, but what we've noticed in sometimes mid and tweeters is they end up picking up static because of the Faraday rings, especially when they use copper ones. They end up being sensitive to all kinds of static, especially, you know, whatever, where places are staticky, which is dry and cold. But, you know, as far as, you know, listening goes, can you hear the difference? Again, probably not. And if you can, then you should be some sort of wizard engineer. And the reason why I say this is, I mean, you don't have to do the science on it. You really just have to look at the marketing, which is that, does everyone use a Faraday ring? No. So obviously it doesn't do what it says it does. It's just an added expense. But if you're going for the frou-frou market, you know, of marketing, then sure, add one, you know, and a lot of people do. Me, personally, any sundown motor that I tear apart, I try to take that fucker out because I've had too many problems with them coming unglued. They absorb a lot of heat and then the glue fails, and then next thing I know, somebody's complaining that, hey, there's something rattling around in my woofer. And I'm like, well, let's look at it. And that actually happened on this one. So Jacob had put a pole topper made out of aluminum in there, and then it fucking busted up the thing. There's nothing wrong with the woofer, and I ended up having to re-glue. You can see there because it tore up the paper a little bit. But you know what's funny is that I replaced it with one that looked like this, and the guy still burned it up. What a dick. So, and then he cried to his dad because I work with his dad, and then he's like, rah, 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 rah. And I'm like, dude, your fucking kid's out of control. And he's like, well, I didn't raise him. I was like, So he's spoiling me. He's like, yeah. So that's how that goes. But this was one I don't really care about telling them now. It's a good amp. I looked at it. ProBox rocks. It's an 800 RMS, 2-channel Class D. It's why they use 2 channels. I don't know. It had to do with probably, you know, whatever woofers they paired up with it. So this is a great Class D. You can bridge it as well, but again, it's like a Class AB amp where it's 4 ohm, you know, mono bridged, stable. You don't want to take each channel down below 2 ohms. So, and all that is that's what strapping is. So you're bridging the two. And back to electricity, we talked about that. So at your, you know, most service panels, it'll have L1, which is leg 1, and then they'll have L2, which is leg 2. So this is 0 degrees phase. This is 180 degree out of phase. And then this right there, that is your ground, your reference point. And so when you connect these two, that's 110 or 120 volts out of phase relative to this one. And then when you connect these two, it's 120 volts. And then when you connect just the two ones, like, I don't know if I can do that. Oh, no, I'm retarded. Then that's 220. So that's 220 volts. And that's basically what happens on an amplifier is here's channel 1, here's channel 2. And then when you bridge them, that's mono, because bridged or whatever. Mono just means 1. Then you bridge it and you get twice the voltage. So, but you got to make sure you watch your impedance. So because the way that it sees it. But, so, you know, again, audio engineers many times just mimic other things. You know, you find a solution, I don't want to say in nature, but that's already established, and you just copy it and apply it to something else. So, but I think that's enough nerding it up for the morning. I did want to do a video on this one, but I mean, it was whatever. I'm really fucking good at these now. I might start doing them again. Somebody just needed a new foam on it, and now I charge $100 because I don't want to do it. And I was like, wow, I got $100 for like 20 minutes worth of work. That's pretty good. So, but again, I just, you know, it's fucking JL, dude. It's just they're such dicks. You know, you got to ask yourself, you know, am I that much of a whore? You know, and also, you know, am I enabling people to be, you know, exploited? See, those are some good thoughts, good things to think about. To sit in class and then daydream out the window. That's what I used to do a lot in high school. So, I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Keep the questions coming. I love helping you guys. Talk to you later.